Well, my responsibilities as a representative of Senegal delegation is to really represent like the core values of Senegal and advocate for what we want, what we need in front of those big countries as a developing countries and the gate door to Africa.
In the simulation, I did a lot of research into Senegal and also talked to AI researchers and representatives from GPAI originally. Did a ton of background into the economy, into the infrastructure issues, the education issues, many of the different aspects facing like youth unemployment or other issues to access, and even looking at the New Deal technology. It was released last year and that actually kind of built the basis for our arguments and for our plans. So that was extremely helpful.
It feels quite realistic, not only in the setup, again in the way that they're prepared for this, the types of disagreement that arise, which they sort of integrate their respective roles. Some are journalists, some are leaders, some are have different perspectives, some are parts of public infrastructures. These conflicts that you could expect arise in these bodies, like really they felt quite realistic.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate because like a lot of stuff we're talking about where everyone's kind of going through their list of laws. We're talking about US law a little while ago. We're talking about like different AI meetings as well. Like a lot of real life things are happening. Like we're trying to, like all of us are assuming the roles and kind of going through it. And so it's definitely.
Yeah, it's really realistic. Yeah. It's not just a simulation. It's a real world scenario, I think.
For me, the most interesting bits were the part about how to negotiate. Some, like, I don't know, but we talked about the power of the pen. So that means the person who's writing has actually a lot of power. There were also all of the things around the position, like who's sitting where, and all of these details are actually very important, but also like in reality, this is how it's done in real international negotiations.
Our responsibilities is, I think, to fetch the right information and, of course, like any journalist, not give out fake news, for instance. And and to inform people of what's going on in Simuvaction and what are people doing.
What is fascinating here is that really people do not want to get too far into conflicts. They really share a clear goodwill to achieve some results that will be shared in a common declaration, a common statement that will be meaningful for all of the participants, which is an interesting position, but at the same time it's a limitation, because sometimes we need to accept to get into the conflict. But in this situation, I think that the moral obligation that they can feel is to achieve something that is really not pushing everybody in a too much polarized position.
What we want to do is to have really this ecosystem of stakeholders being involved and supporting our students, especially after COVID, where I realized that the gap that we had between the sciences and humanities, and we needed absolutely to fill the gap and to show the student that when they have the same interest, even though they are coming from international contexts and different ones, or they are coming from interdisciplinary fields, they can still speak the same language and defend some interests and convictions.